Hello there guys and welcome to Mad Doc Minis. In this video I'm going to be celebrating Orktober 2021 in my own special way by taking a trip down memory lane all the way back to 1994 and the release of these gorgeous Blood Axe Kommandos. I remember when these guys were first released and so massive nostalgia overload for me. First saw them in White Dwarf as a kid and instantly wanted them. Never actually got them though. But now I have them and I'm going to rescue this eBay lot that I got of 10 of these guys. Now these guys are the real deal. They're proper commandos, not like the poncy ones that were released recently. Definitely not my thing. The whole kind of orc football hooligan thing for me it's not the type of kind of feel and aesthetic that I like for my orcs. I really like the second edition era stuff, the goths, the blood axes, the bad moons from that era, just really much more interesting for me personally. I'm not that way with everything. I like some of the modern innovations. For instance, I like Primaris Space Marines. I think that was a good move, but the orcs just, yeah, I like the older orcs better, basically. So that's what I'm going to be doing, saving these guys. So going to dunk them into an acetone bath, take all the plastic bases off because that'll just kind of turn to horrible plastic kind of goop otherwise. So going to getting rid of all that, dunk them in the acetone overnight. They're metal miniatures, so they'll cope fine with that. And obviously give them a bit of a scrub afterwards with an old toothbrush just to get rid of all the little paint flakes as well. So that's the process of I use and pretty much most other people would use for kind of stripping paint from metal miniatures. But do give it a bit of time to soak before you scrub them. So this is not, and I repeat, not a painting tutorial because I am no painter. just that's my disclaimer. I have done a kind of step-by-step thing for kind of what I did for these guys, but it's not necessarily a tutorial. It's just an interest piece. If anyone wants to join me in the little trip down memory lane, really. So I painted all the flesh in Ork Flesh, which is a nice dark flesh tone for the orcs, which is great. So I want it all to be kind of muted, dark colours, commandos. Want that kind of emphasis here. So I kind of went ahead and kind of did the hands and the faces in the orc flesh. Contrast paints all the way for me. Contrast paints have actually brought the enjoyment of painting back quite a lot for me as well. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm not a great painter and I'm not a very conscientious painter. So for me, they work really well. So I'm going to kind of go around and tidy up a little bit after the flesh stage with a little bit of Rathbone paint. I actually spray painted them in Rathbone as a base for all the contrast paints. So I'm just going around and tidying up around the edges so that the mistakes don't show through on the next layer of contrast, which is going to be snakebite leather, and that's for all the fatigues. I did kind of originally want to do an olive kind of drab, but it wouldn't really have worked with the green flesh tone of the orcs, so I decided this was as close as I could get to that, but still offering us enough contrast between that and the skin, really. And it's not a bad approximation for what the World War II kind of guys wore, which is the thing that these guys are parodying, of course, World War II British Commandos. We go around, we have a little bit of a tidy up with some Rathbone again, just kind of touching up where I've kind of overspilt a little bit on the weapons, because that's the next thing that's going to get painted. Weapons next, using actually a little bit of Black Templar. Black Templar for me is great because I hate painting weapons and it's made the whole process much less painful. It's also a very dull, matte finish kind of paint, which is perfect for the aesthetic here, because again, commandos, the idea that they kind of would probably black out their weapons and you don't want any kind of shiny bits that are going to catch any kind of light or reflect anything. So I wanted nice kind of muted kind of tones for everything, really. So yeah, Black Templar all the way. Also do a little bit of that as well as on the weapons. Also did a bit of that on the boots as well. So no spit and polish on the boots, just a bit of a dull black in this case, which is fine. It's all going in the right direction for a commando mission here. So the next thing I wanted to do was actually add a little bit of face camouflage to these guys, and I used is it Bacillium Grey? I can't say these stupid names at all, I'm sorry. But anyway, the grey contrast paint. And I use that rather than the black because it's not quite as harsh. And I just wanted to add a little bit of face camouflage. And some of them turned out pretty well, I think, and some of them not so well. But just blacks out the faces a bit, adds to that kind of commando lean again. Really trying to theme these guys strongly towards that. Little bit of Rathbone now, and we're going to pick out the teeth. I didn't really want to paint the teeth bright colours, but teeth are teeth, you know, and if you don't paint them, it looks like you've forgotten them. So a little bit of Rathbone, because that's what I had close to hand, and the teeth get a coat of paint. Then we have Blood Angels Red, because basically I could not resist painting the little Swiss Army knives on their belts red. It's the only colour for Swiss Army knives, isn't it, guys? And they had to be red, and that was it. But it's quite muted, so that's fine. And especially after some washes in a minute, that gets dulled back down. Gore Grunter Fur now, that covers all the webbing, the equipment, the backpacks, the pouches, the ropes, all that get a bit of a coat of that. And just basically to differentiate it between the fatigues. It was all looking a bit boring otherwise. Then Iron Warriors, about as dark as you can get really for a metallic paint. Nearly didn't do this. Wanted the blades of the axes to be properly blacked out. So I was going to leave them black Templar, but the trouble is it just looks like you've forgotten to paint them then, which is not the look I'm going for really. So Iron Warriors it was, and I'm glad I did this. It does look better. It still looks like the blades have been blacked out and muted a little bit, but it doesn't give the impression that you've forgotten to paint an aspect of the miniature either. So bit of a meeting in the middle there. So next we have a very, very liberal coat of Nuln Oil that's going to bring all the colours together, go into all the recesses and darken the miniatures off. I'm a massive cheat and it's talent in a bottle, so I'm not going to neglect using that. After that, bit of a coat with some spray, varnish, purity seal to protect them because they're metal. And then a little bit of basing with the Geek Gaming Base Ready range, which is absolutely superb. Highly recommend it. And don't forget, guys, if you like what you've seen, like, share and subscribe. And remember the reminder bell. Hope you like what I've done here. Here are the visuals.